Alright everyone, so Boruto chapter 73 has been released and I'm here to give you guys my review on the chapter. What did I think of it? Did I like it? Did I hate it? I'm going to give you all my thoughts here in this video, but before we do, guys, as always, I do have to ask you that if you want to show your support for the channel, you know what to do. Make sure to hit that like button, share this video out there, subscribe to the channel if you're new, make sure to click on the bell icons to be notified whenever I post a new video, and please comment down below with whatever your thoughts are. All those things really go a long way in helping videos out in the YouTube algorithm. So with all that stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this chapter. Now this chapter is very interesting because we get some very interesting bits of information, and we also have a very good setup for what is going to happen in Boruto chapter 74, which should be out next month. Now let's go ahead and talk about what happens in this chapter. So in this chapter, Ada and Daemon and Amado finally make it to the Leaf Village. And to me, this is interesting because I really did think at one point that the way they set things up, you know, the fact that they said that it was going to take them a while before they make it to the Leaf Village, I thought that what was going to happen, that what they were setting up is an opportunity for Code to attack the Leaf Village with his Ten Tails army while Ada and Daemon are on their way there. And a lot of people also assume that the mission that was going to be given to Team 7, specifically Boruto and Kawaki, is that they were supposed to meet Ada, Daemon, and Amado and escort them back to the Leaf Village, essentially removing Konoha's most powerful players, or most of them, away from the Leaf Village, which would give Code a prime opportunity to attack them. But that's not what ends up happening, and Ada and Daemon are here. We see them at the beginning getting off the train. They're greeted by Shikamaru, Sai, and a bunch of other shinobi, and immediately they are affected by Ada's ability, which again just reminds you how dangerous this ability actually is. It's like it's really difficult for people to resist this ability of hers, although we do get some very interesting bits of information, more than what we kind of already have, about a possible way to resist Ada's ability. At least that's kind of how I saw it. We'll get to that when we get to that. Now, Ada, of course, reveals to Shikamaru that, yeah, I know about your plan, of course, and Shikamaru, I think, already predicted this because he did mention in the previous chapter that about Ada's ability and how she can see and hear everything. So I'm willing to bet he probably already knew this, and he said, all right, well, let me escort you to the apartment. And she said, no need, I already know where it is, and I'm gonna make it there myself. And that's when we see her flying. Now, I do want to talk about this for just a moment, because I've already seen some people theorize that maybe this means that Ada being an Otsutsuki is kind of confirmed or whatever. And personally, I wouldn't go that far, because remember, we've seen non-Otsutsuki members be able to fly before. This isn't something that is exclusive to Otsutsuki. Yes, they are the ones who are known for being able to fly, but we have seen other members of this world, that this Naruto world, have the ability to fly. Remember, Onoki also possessed the ability to fly, and it wasn't just Onoki, but also it seems like the previous Kage also had the ability to fly. So flying, again, isn't 100% unique to Otsutsuki. So I wouldn't necessarily say that this is like confirmation that Ada and Daemon are Otsutsuki, or they're somehow linked to those two missing Otsutsuki. Personally, I wouldn't go that far. Maybe that could turn out to be the case. If it is, that's fine. But for now, I'm not really comfortable saying that, oh, this is 100% confirmation that, yeah, they are indeed Otsutsuki, or at least they have some Otsutsuki DNA in them. I've even seen some people theorize that maybe at one point they were vessels for an Otsutsuki's karma, and those Otsutsuki are dead, and so the karma also disappeared, but the conversion to being 100% Otsutsuki already happened before the karma actually disappeared. So that's why they now have abilities that are similar to what the Otsutsuki can do, and why Ada and Daemon are so strong is because they've been converted to 100% Otsutsuki. Personally, again, that might not be what's actually happening. We could get another explanation. We'll see. So she flies and heads over to the apartment. Then we cut to the interior of the apartment. We see Boruto, Kawaki, and Konohamaru. and they're all talking about this mission, and Boruto is just being completely nonchalant about this, like he's not even taking this seriously. And Kawaki even points it out, it's like, dude, why the hell are you being so casual about this? Like, this is a serious mission. Okay, these two we're about to meet are very dangerous, we need to actually take this seriously. But Boruto's like, dude, I mean, like, there's no use worrying about it or whatsoever. And I'm honestly a little bit worried about Boruto's attitude, and I feel like there might be something else going on, because we've we've seen Boruto be casual about things in the past, but that's usually back when his character was first introduced, and you understood what they were going for, that he's someone who is a little arrogant because he's a little bit ahead of everyone else. But then after a while we saw him start to take things a lot more seriously, and that was part of his development. But now it's like he's been reverted back to how he was before, and I do have an idea as to what they might be subtly hinting at. I kind of want to wait for more information before I talk about that, but for now I just think that that's something worth pointing out, how Boruto is acting recently. And then we get a moment of Kawaki remembering what happened in the Hokage office. Now, when I initially read the spoilers, I thought that maybe what was happening here was Kawaki telling Boruto that, hey, just so you know, Momoshiki showed up behind you in the Hokage office when we were being given our mission briefing, and we were maybe going to get a reaction from Boruto and how he feels about this. But that's not what happened. Kawaki doesn't even tell him. Now, personally for me, that might accidentally be a smart move on Kawaki. We've seen Kawaki before, like, not really confide in people what he really thinks. I mean, he didn't tell anyone about his plan to leave the village so he could confront Code, essentially moving him away from the Leaf Village and essentially removing the danger of Code attacking Naruto. Like, that was his whole plan. So maybe he's doing that here, but it might unintentionally be the smarter thing to do, because I feel like if Kawaki were to let on that he knows about Momoshiki manifesting behind him, that might actually end up being a bad thing, because then Momoshiki will know, oh, so this person saw me, this person is able to possibly get in my way, then I might have to actually do something. Now, whether or not he can do something, that remains to be seen. It is kind of hinted that Kawaki right now is even stronger than Momoshiki with his karma mark, even when he manifests and takes over Boruto's consciousness. I think that's been kind of proven. But if we know anything about Momoshiki, we know that he is someone who is starting to take these people a lot more seriously. So he's less likely to underestimate them, and he's more likely to plan for that ahead of time when it comes to Kawaki and his strength. And with Naruto and Sasuke, I mean, back in the fight in the forest when they had Momoshiki take over Boruto's body and he was fighting Code, the second Naruto showed up, Momoshiki could have been, oh, well, you don't have the fox anymore, I could easily take you out now. Instead, no, he was like, yeah, I'm not going to underestimate this guy. I'm going to work with Code, and I'm going to make sure we take you out. And he had Code, take him hostage, or take Shikamaru hostage and use that against him. So Momoshiki is showing, we've seen examples in the past that he's learned from his mistakes in the past, where he is smart enough to know that I shouldn't be underestimating these people. Like, I need to take them seriously. So I feel like Momoshiki is definitely more of a threat now than he was before. And moving on, we cut to a scene in the other apartment where Sarada and Mitsuki are, and it's part of their job, which is to keep surveillance on the apartment where Boruto, Kawaki, Ada, and Daemon are going to be staying. And we see Team 10 show up. We see Shikadai, Inojin, and Chocho show up, and they say that, hey, we want to take a look at this person who's going to be appearing. Now, how Team 10 even knew about this, I don't know. I gotta be honest, like, that's not really made clear. But somehow they figured it out, and we then see Ada show up, and we get something very, very interesting. Well, another thing that's very, very interesting that's shown to us here. Ada takes a look at all of them who are sitting in that apartment over there, or at least on the balcony, and then Mitsuki, Inojin, and Chocho all fall under her spell, but for some reason Sarada and Shikadai don't. And it's a little bit weird. Now, one thing I do want to talk about just real quick is when Mitsuki fell for Ada's spell, I've seen a lot of people online say that, well, there goes the Mitsuki is an Otsutsuki theory, which personally for me is kind of funny, because I didn't know that was a theory. I didn't know that was out there. But I guess technically, yeah, that theory kind of gets debunked because we know that her ability doesn't work on blood relatives and Otsutsuki. So I guess there goes that theory. But it was kind of funny seeing Mitsuki talk about how he's never felt like this before and how he was being all smitten over Ada. And the second Chocho makes a suggestion about going over there and actually seeing, seeing her in person, getting a better look, Mitsuki immediately says, yeah, let's go, let's go. Essentially, he's gone. Mitsuki's gone in this chapter. Now, another thing that I do want to talk about, excuse me, is that the way the expressions were drawn in this chapter, I do feel like Ikimoto could have probably done a better job, exaggerating the expressions, to add to the comedic effect of what's happening here. But it's whatever. I mean, Ikimoto did admit, I think, in an interview that, comedic expressions are kind of a weakness of his. So it's okay. I can understand, every artist has their weakness. Every artist has something that they struggle with, which is fine. Absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to point that out real quick. So we move forward. We move back to the apartment with Boruto, Kawaki, Ada, and Daemon. We see Ada show up, and then we also see a funny interaction with Konohamaru where he meets, Ada, and he, like everyone else, just completely falls for her, and it's played out for comedy. And I know that a lot of people are not going to be happy about that because they really like Konohamaru and they want the Konohamaru that was able to destroy one of the paths of pain. But it does kind of seem like Konohamaru is going to be that character that's going to be like played up for comedic effect. He's going to be like the Ebisu of this series. I feel like, someone who at one point was supposed to be kind of taken seriously, but then is just completely discarded. And yeah, you're just a joke character now. So I feel like that's kind of what's going to happen with Konohamaru. I could be wrong, but that's just the vibe that I'm getting when reading the chapters and seeing what little I've seen from him in the anime. Although the anime at least has given him some cool moments, like his fight against Jugo was pretty damn cool. I especially love how it was animated. So the anime at least does give him a bit of a break every now and then. So moving forward, and we cut back to the we're still in the apartment with Boruto, Kawaki, Ada, and Daemon, and then Daemon immediately shows up and just starts, using Boruto the same way he used Code, as a like, hey, give me a piggyback ride or whatever. And he immediately introduces himself to Boruto and Kawaki, and he says, so you two are Otsutsuki, so you two are the ones who could possibly kill my sister. And he just reminds them that, yeah, I'm not gonna let that happen. And the entire time Boruto and Kawaki are asking, what the hell is he doing? And his entire reason for doing this is just to remind them that, yeah, you two may be Otsutsuki, but remember, I'm the one who's number one. Like, I'm still at the top. I'm still the strongest. There's no one here who's stronger than me. And then Kawaki, of course, being Kawaki, says that, all right, you know what? I'm just going to throw this kid out. And he thinks that, Daemon is not a threat to him whatsoever, which I thought was a little bit weird because you would think that Kawaki would slightly remember him since he saw him for like a little bit before he got hit with his own blast that knocked him out. I don't know, that just seems a little bit weird to me that Kawaki didn't even remember him. But yeah, Kawaki attacks him, and his first attack gets reflected by Daemon's ability because he was touching Boruto. Remember, it was confirmed that in order for Daemon's ability to work, he has to touch someone with the palms of his hands. So because he was holding on to Boruto at the time, his ability was active and Kawaki's attack was reflected back at him. And then something interesting happened. Daemon jumps off of Boruto and he specifically says, okay, I won't use any cheap tricks, which tells me that, okay, so Daemon can control this ability. He can at least have a say in when it's active and when it's not active, because I always thought for a while that this ability was always turned on, that even when Daemon doesn't know about it, even when someone tries to, sneak up on him, it's not going to work because his ability is always active. At least that's what I thought it was, but it seems like Daemon actually can switch it off, at his command. So, okay, that's interesting to know. And then we see like mini fight between Kawaki and Daemon, and then Kawaki activates his dojutsu and tries to hit him with those, chakra rods, but Daemon just immediately catches him, which once again just reminds you where Daemon is in terms of power, because when it comes to Kawaki, we're not really sure whether Kawaki is stronger than Jigen was, the same Jigen who fought against Naruto and Sasuke. We don't know whether he's that strong or not. Personally, for me, I I don't really know whether that's the case, or I'm not really comfortable saying that that's where he is in terms of power, that he's above the Jigen that beat up on Naruto and Sasuke. But if he is, then Daemon right now has been proven to be easily above him, as if he wasn't already. I mean, that was kind of clear. But for anyone out there who had any doubts, that like this should absolutely, prove to them once and for all that Daemon is indeed above Jigen in terms of power. He's not above Ishiki in terms of power. Like that's, I think, was confirmed in the previous chapter. He is above Jigen, this possibly the same Jigen that, beat up on Naruto and Sasuke. And he was able to react to them, whereas Naruto and Sasuke both, even with 6-pass Sage Mode and the Rinnegan, like neither of them could react to those chakras. Like they always got hit by them. And remember, Sasuke, his eyes could see them, like he could actually see the chakra rods coming at him. The problem is that he didn't have the power or the speed that was necessary to either catch them or dodge them. But Daemon does, which once again just shows you how dangerous this kid actually is. And even Boruto's like, wait a minute, he actually caught those? And then he just drops him, disappears, and he shows up behind Kawaki and just taps him on the side of his head with his foot. Like, it didn't even seem like he hit him that hard, but it was hard enough to where it knocked Kawaki completely out. So Kawaki's down. Like, Daemon took him out like he was nothing. And then Boruto attacks him, and he tried even less with Boruto. So that, again, should probably tell you, like, Kawaki is definitely stronger than Boruto, because Daemon clearly, like the way it was shown to us, like he barely even tried against Boruto, whereas with Kawaki it seemed like he put in a little bit more effort into it, and he was able to knock both of them out. And then they wake up afterwards, and you had Ada who apologized to Boruto, saying that, yeah, that wasn't really the nicest greeting. And then Boruto's like, yeah, what the hell, like what was up with that? Like that was completely unnecessary. You just made me look bad, as if a certain part of the fandom doesn't need even more of a reason to completely shit on me. Like you just gave them more ammunition. I don't know, I thought that was kind of funny. So Kawaki wakes up afterwards, and then we cut to the very end of the chapter where we have Naruto and Amado and Shikamaru in a room. They're talking to Boruto, Kawaki, Ada, and Daemon, and they say that, okay, we've got Amado here, and they even ask Amado, all right, no more BS, okay, you've been fucking around with us all this time, none of that, all right, we're not having any of that. We need answers, and you are going to give us those answers right here, right now. And then Amado says, all right, but just let me smoke. So I don't know, it feels a little bit weird that he said, all right, just let me smoke or whatever. I don't know if he just said that comedically over there, if there's something going on. I know there's a theory out there that Amado has like some kind of ability with those smokes, or maybe there's not. Maybe that's just people reading too much into it, and they just are just looking for something deeper than, oh, he just has a smoking habit. I don't know, that's just me. But yeah, so that's where the chapter ends. Now, they did set up at the end, like I said, that we are finally going to get an answer to, who is Amado? What are his plans? Why is he doing all this? Why is he obsessed with Kawaki's karma mark specifically? Why did he go through the trouble of secretly giving it back to him and manipulating Kawaki into wanting the karma mark back so it would come back? Why did he go through all this? Why did he go through the trouble of backstabbing whom he acknowledges to be the strongest being on this planet? And if he was allowed to come back, there would be no one on earth who could stop him, which includes Ada and Daemon, by the way. So remember, he knows about them, he knows how strong they are, and yet he specifically said there's no one on earth who could stop Ishiki. So again, for anyone out there who still thinks that Daemon and Ada are Ishiki level, they're not. They're not on Ishiki's level, and they're not on Baryon mode Naruto's level. Just wanted to clarify that, because I know there's people out there who still believe that Ada and Daemon are above Ishiki, which they're not. Just remember, Ishiki and Jigen are two completely different people. And why did he go through the trouble of backstabbing him, putting his own life at risk? Why go through all that trouble? What are his goals? And it seems like we are going to finally find that out next chapter, or at least I hope we do. I hope that Kishimoto doesn't do what he did before, where it seemed like we are finally going to get an answer when Shikamaru asked him, but then Code interrupted, and even Ada called him out for, being an idiot, because we were about to get some valuable information. I hope we do get that, because the next chapter, if I remember correctly, is supposed to be the like the very last chapter in volume 19 of Boruto. And usually how they structure these volumes is they always have the last chapter be a cliffhanger, you know, a good way to get people to buy the next volume. So Amado revealing what his plans and having like this big reveal happen in the last chapter would be a good way to, you know, leave people wanting more, you know, people who buy the volumes as opposed to reading the chapter, you know, month by month. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on the chapter. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? And remember, while you're here, consider leaving a like, sharing this video out there, hit the subscribe button if you're new, ring the bell for notifications, consider becoming a channel member by clicking the blue join button that's next to the subscribe button, because it will, you know, really help the channel out. Again, it's optional if you don't want to. That's completely fine. It's understandable. Just you watching the video and, you know, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing, all those things still go a long way in helping out the channel. So if you still choose to do that, I absolutely 100% appreciate it, and I cannot thank you enough for supporting me. But with all that said, I'm gonna let you guys go, and I hope I'll see you guys for my review of Boruto chapter 74 when it gets released next month. Bye for now.